secretary, which is an important role, but not a very public role. He controls the paperwork going to the president's desk. Porter has operated mostly behind the scenes until about a week ago when the British tabloid The Daily Mail published a story saying he'd started a romantic relationship with Hope Hicks, the communications director at the White House. Suddenly, the low-key staff secretary was in the spotlight, and a few days later, the Mail followed up with a story saying Porter's two ex-wives had accused him of domestic violence.
And how's the White House handling all this?
At first, the White House mounted a vigorous defense of Porter. Chief of Staff John Kelly called him a man of true integrity, and he stood by those statements on Wednesday for a number of hours after a photograph surfaced showing one of Porter's exes with a black eye. Shah acknowledged yesterday the administration was kind of slow to grasp the gravity of these allegations.
We all could have done better in the last few days in dealing with the situation, but the emerging reports from
Chief of Staff Kelly put out a revised statement saying he was shocked by what he called new allegations. And by yesterday, Porter was gone out the door. We should say, however, these allegations had come out in Porter's background check, and there are reports that at least some officials at the White House were aware of the allegations months ago.
Okay, we'll have to follow where that story goes and how the White House handles it. NPR White House correspondent Scott Horsley, always good to have you on the show. Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome.
The Winter Olympics are now underway in Pyeongchang, South Korea, and this year 3 out of 4 members of the U.S. men's ski jumping team come from an unlikely place. Here's Quinn Myers of our member station WBEZ.
On a recent morning, a bunch of kids wearing jumpsuits and carrying skis on their shoulders are climbing up the side of a huge wooden ski jump. They just piled out of a minivan at the top of a big hill, driving up a winding road past front yards filled with boat trailers and swimming pools. The ski jump towers more than 200 feet off the top of the hill and looks like the dip of an old roller coaster held up by a bare metal frame. At the top, skiers shimmy onto a starting bar, place their skis on the track, lean forward, and a few seconds later, hundreds of feet away, they've landed neatly near the bottom. This description might make you think you're in Colorado or Utah, but at the top of this jump, instead of mountain vistas, you see sprawling suburbs and highways.
People are kind of shocked and they kind of look at you weird, like, what the heck, you're from Cary, Illinois, close to Chicago? There's no mountains around there, you can't ski around there.
That's Michael Glasner, who's been jumping at the Norgie Ski Club here in Fox River Grove, Illinois, since he was 5. Norgie was founded in 1905 by 3 Norwegian immigrants from Chicago who wanted a place to ski on weekends. Now, more than a century later, the one-time suburban retreat has become a year-round training facility. Glasner is headed to this year's Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, along with fellow Norgie members Kevin Bickner and Casey Larson.
The coaching there is phenomenal, and that's kind of fed our entire national team over the last 15 years.
That coach is Scott Smith. Like Glasner, Smith has been jumping at Norgie since he was a kid.
I was very passionate about it, and my dream was to go to the Olympics someday. I made it to the U.S. ski team and just missed out in the 1988 Olympics, and I got into coaching right after that.
30 years after his Olympic hopes were dashed, Smith has become instrumental in turning a big hill in a Chicago suburb into an Olympic-grade ski program. He says part of the club's recent success can be linked to the purchase of this large ski jump from a small town in Minnesota in 2004.
We knew it was a good jump, so we contacted the city there and asked if we could get the jump, and they said yes. So we went up there and dismantled it and had it trucked down here and put it back up, and here it is.
Smith says the bigger jump helps his skiers get better fast. During competition, distance, along with style, is a key factor for the judges. At Norgie, skiers learn to jump gradually. They start on small jumps and work their way up to the big one. The U.S. hasn't medaled in ski jumping since the first Winter Olympics in 1924. And looking ahead to the competition in South Korea, Smith and Glasner say while winning would be nice, that's not their only goal.
I had a dream to be able to coach somebody that could make it to the Olympics, and the 3 guys that are going, I coached them all through their younger days, and here they are. You know, we've never had an Olympian, and now all of a sudden we have 3.
3 decades after he almost made the Olympic team, Smith says he plans to be in the stands in Pyeongchang, cheering on his skiers who trained at this unconventional facility in Fox River Grove, Illinois. For NPR News, I'm Quinn Myers.
7:41, and this is WBEZ. Thanks for being with us. We've got 24 degrees at the lakefront, 24 in Glenview, and 20 degrees in Oak Park. And again, we'll see a little more snow this morning, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches by the time the storm moves out. The winter storm warning expiring at noon today. WBEZ is supported by your membership and by Netflix, presenting a monthly event series, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, with David Letterman. Letterman teams up with global figures for in-depth interviews and field segments. February's guest is actor George Clooney, now streaming only on Netflix. And WBEZ's Nonprofit Spotlight is supported by Northwestern University's Master of Product Design and Development Management program. MPD is offering a 3-day intensive executive education program starting April 8th. This executive program will discuss how to gain a leadership position in the market, identify opportunities for new products, and manage the process of design and development. Information is at mpd.northwestern.edu. Cloudy skies, and we've got lots of flights canceled. School's out. It's 26 degrees, going up to 28 today.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Nora Rahm. President Trump has signed into law a bill to keep the government in business through March 23rd to end the second government shutdown in 3 weeks. Immigration was an issue last time. Just before the House vote early this morning, Speaker Paul Ryan assured lawmakers there will be a vote to protect young immigrants brought to the U.S. illegally as children.
I make a commitment to working together on an immigration measure that we can make law as a sincere commitment. We will solve this DACA problem. Once we get this budget agreement done, and we will get this done for no matter how long it takes for us to stay here, we will focus on bringing that debate to this floor and finding a solution.
Despite the expiration of DACA set for next month, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis says the nearly 850 immigrants serving in the military or waiting to start basic training will not be deported. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is heading to the Middle East next week, and he'll take part in a conference to raise money for rebuilding Iraq. But NPR's Michelle Kellerman reports he is not expected to announce any new U.S. commitments.
State Department spokesperson Heather Nauert says the Trump administration has changed its policy. It isn't doing nation building anymore, she says, instead encouraging others to help foot the bill in Iraq. Tillerson will be attending the conference in Kuwait on a trip that will also take him to Egypt, Turkey, Jordan, and Lebanon.
I'm Nora Rahm, NPR News in Washington.
7:43 and 26 degrees with snow. I'm Lisa Labas, WBEZ News. Thousands of air travelers are being delayed this morning by this winter snowstorm moving across the upper Midwest. The Chicago Department of Aviation reports about 550 flights were canceled at O'Hare. About 230 are canceled at Midway. Airlines had warned travelers to expect these cancellations and to and from Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Some courts and government offices have shut down. A lot of schools have been closed. Northwestern University officials say a journalism professor accused of misconduct by former students and employees is taking a leave of absence. University spokesperson Ellen Cubbage yesterday said Alec Klein is stepping away from teaching investigative journalism and as director of the Medill Justice Project while the university completes an investigation. Let's head over to traffic. Here's Jen DeSalvo.
And the Kennedy Expressway outbound at Kimball Avenue, we do have a crash. The 2 left lanes are blocked. Police are on the scene and cars are facing the wrong way, the outbound side of the Kennedy. 17 minutes to the junction, 31 minutes out to O'Hare. And the CTA Red Line, we are seeing some delays after there was an earlier mechanical problem on a train at Fullerton, but they are resuming. Over at the airports, over 800 flight cancellations between both O'Hare and Midway. The Edens Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 20 minutes, outbound 27 at Lake Cook. Kennedy inbound back down is 43 minutes from O'Hare into downtown after that earlier crash was cleared from Irving. The Eisenhower inbound Cornell to downtown, 50 minutes, outbound side an hour. Stevenson 53 from 355 into Lakeshore Drive, outbound side 55 minutes to 355. The Ryan 25 minutes either way between 95th and downtown. Slight delays on 57 at about 20 minutes to your Bishop Ford trip, but Lakeshore Drive, probably the best looking road out there. I'm
this seemingly unexplainable interregnum, and then they finally went ahead and arrested him this time.
It's important to note that Lee is accused of retaining classified information. He has not been charged with passing it on to the Chinese government. The New York Times and other media outlets report he's suspected of doing so. The CIA and the FBI aren't commenting. Lee's case is unusual when it comes to China. Chinese espionage is more often cyber snooping.
Based on what I see in cyberspace, they are dedicated, they are vigorous, they are persistent.
Martin Libicki is a professor at the U.S. Naval Academy and author of Cyberspace in Peace and War.
I think one former head of the FBI compared the Chinese to a bunch of drunken burglars going through your house.
The U.S. began naming and shaming Chinese hackers several years ago, and the countries then reached a 2015 agreement pledging not to steal each other's intellectual property.
The Chinese military particularly had been hacking lots of R&D, from the energy sector, particularly in solar, all the way through to military application, fighter jets on down.
Laura Galante used to monitor cyber threats for the Defense Department and is now at the Atlantic Council. To the surprise of many, she says, the agreement is mostly working.
We did see a far diminished amount of hacking of intellectual property.
Still, the spy games continue on multiple fronts. CIA Director Mike Pompeo says the Chinese target U.S. universities, the medical industry, and corporations. Of course, the U.S. is spying on China and others. Here's how he describes U.S. efforts globally.
We ask our officers to risk their lives to seal secrets to protect America. It's our fundamental mission. We will never shy away from it, and we do so aggressively and without any apology.
The U.S. and China are deeply entwined. Students, academics, and business people flow freely in both directions, which creates opportunities to spy and be spied upon. Here's Chris Johnson again, the former CIA analyst.
The tricky bit is really more in the broader context of the U.S.-China relationship, where we have this deepening economic and interdependence. We cannot wall ourselves off from the Chinese economy, and they cannot wall themselves off from our economy.
As a dual citizen, Jerry Lee could move back and forth freely during his time at the CIA. In turn, Chinese intelligence has a reputation for recruiting Americans who are ethnic Chinese. If convicted of retaining classified information, Lee faces up to 10 years in prison. Greg Myrie, NPR News, Washington.
7:49, and this is WBEZ. Thanks for being here. I'm Lisa Labis. We do have more snow this morning, and as a reminder, if you're on the roads, those roads are still quite snow-covered. Turn on your headlights. Headlights are required to be on by Illinois law when wipers are in use or when visibility is less than 1,000 feet. So we've got some really inclement weather right now. Turn those headlights on. Make yourself be seen. It'll be very helpful for everyone around you. 750 WBEZ is supported by your membership. Support is also provided by the Abe and Ida Cooper Foundation. The Abe and Ida Cooper Foundation commemorates Fred Cooper by supporting programming that highlights the current issues of diversity, racism, equality, anti-Semitism, and sexism. WBEZ is supported by the Symphony Center Presents Piano Series. On Sunday, February 18th, Mitsuko Uchida returns in recital with an all-Schubert program. The New York Classical Review calls Uchida the great Schubert interpreter of this generation. Tickets at cso.org.
There's no better way to say, I want you back, than with a song. We share some of our favorite songs that beg and plead later on Sound Opinions. That's tonight at 8 on WBEZ.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, celebrating 20 years of grant making and supporting a new initiative to help retain physician scientists with caregiving obligations. Learn more at ddcf.org. From Newman's Own Foundation, working to nourish the common good by donating all profits from Newman's Own food products to charitable organizations that seek to make the world a better place. More information is available at newmansownfoundation.org. And from the Annie E. Casey Foundation.
7:51, it's 26 degrees, going up to 28. Winter storm warning will expire at noon today. This is WBEZ.
For the heads of the U.S. population who hold stocks in one form or another, an appeal for introspection. That plus the federal budget after the government shutdown that came and went like a thief in the night.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Epson, innovating the future of display technology with laser projection. Where there's business, there's Epson. Learn more at epson.com/forbusiness.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. Stock index futures have turned up on this day after the S&P 500's fall over the last week became what's known as a correction, down 10% from a recent high. The Dow future at the moment is up less than 0.1%, the S&P future up 0.2%, the NASDAQ future up 0.6%. This after the Dow fell about 4% yesterday, more than 1,000 points. To process this, I want to check in with Jason Swad, investing columnist for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for joining us, Jason.
Pleasure, David.
So I was looking, there's an exchange-traded fund, a really big one that tracks the S&P 500, and people apparently took about $20 billion out of that over the last 4 days. And this is people, not just institutions here, people saw the volatility and sold. Do you think they're being silly reacting like this?
Not necessarily. I guess there's 2 points I would make. One, somebody else bought that $20 billion worth of stocks. It's not as if $20 billion came out of the stock market and disappeared. But the other point is maybe some people are reassessing their own tolerance for risk. And if you believe that the stock market always goes up and you suddenly learn that no, in fact, always goes down, and you don't like that, then you're probably overexposed to stocks and you probably don't have the reason it takes to invest from a long run.
And some people also looked at the long run that led up to this and thought, well, that's enough for me. Although I lost 10% in the last couple of days, happy to lock in what I have that led up to it.
Well, sure, although you sort of can't have one without the other. The potential higher risk that stocks provide in the long run is compensation for the fact that in the short run, you can lose amazing amounts of money in remarkably short periods of time. I mean, in the past 20 years, the U.S. stock market has gone down roughly 50% twice. And if you're on the verge of retirement, then you should limit the amount you have exposed to that sort of risk unless you're sure you can withstand it.
Now, I could ask if that selling frenzy we saw, especially late in the trading session yesterday, was the sort of, what do you call it, capitulation that could spell the end of this rough patch. But